Hi, hey, how's it going? It's Emily, and today I wanted to start another reading vlog. So I wanted to do a Valentine's Day themed vlog. I love reading romance in February, always have. I feel like I always will. I enjoy reading romance in February, especially around Valentine's Day. And I also wanted to read a Valentine-centered cozy murder mystery. So I felt like that would make a fun vlog. And I had a romance on my shelf that I wanted to get to and had been saving for around this time. And that is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. So in this one, we're following Gemma. Gemma has recently, her boyfriend recently broke up with her. She's kind of going through the emotional ringer, and she goes to find comfort with her aunt and her sister, kind of having a girls' night, having some tequila, and they're at their aunt's bookstore. And their aunt pulls out this book of spells, and basically through the process of going through this spell, she basically wakes up to a completely new life. She, wakes up in the bed of someone she isn't familiar with. She lives in a different place. She owns a health and beauty store that she, in her other life, had been at one point dreaming about opening, but she hadn't really talked much about that to anyone. So she just has this new life. And she basically wishes that she had never met her ex. So in her new life, she hasn't met her ex. But the problem with that is she met one of her closest friends, Dax, that same night. So she and he had been really close friends. And so in the process of having her forget or not have met her ex, she also hadn't met her best friend. And therefore, in her new life, he doesn't remember her. And so in the process of her trying to figure out what's going on, she, of course, goes to him and does things that are familiar to her in her old life that wouldn't be familiar to her in her new life. I.e., she goes to his store and interacts with him in a very familiar way. And he's like, "Excuse me, who are you?" And so she basically is trying to become friends with him again and kind of have him back in her life, but kind of work with what she's got to make that happen. And yeah, in the process, of course, they start to realize that maybe they could be good as more than friends. And it's been fun. It's just been fun. And I've gotten through the first half, and in just a blink of an eye, it feels like. But it's been fun to see her relationship with her aunt and her sister. It's fun to kind of have them interact and her re-meet some people that were in her old life, and just try to see her reorient herself and start to build her life, or kind of get used to her new life and kind of build new dreams and goals and things around that. And she initially is wanting to try to do the spell again to reverse it so that, she can have her old friend back. But, will she ultimately try to do that? I don't know. We'll see. But it's been fun. It's just been really cute and funny, and I'm having a good time with that. So, off to a good start. I do have, as I said, one more romance planned for this vlog, as well as a Valentine's Day themed cozy murder mystery, because why not? You know what I mean? Why not? So yeah, I'll let you know once I finish This Spells Love. So let's do a quick update, shall we? So I have since finished another book for this vlog, and I finished this last Friday. I actually read most of it in one day over the course of going out to run some errands and do some things. I listened to the audiobook. It's a pretty short book and a short audiobook, so I was able to get through it pretty quickly. And I thought it would be fun to do something other than a romance, to just have some sort of cozy mystery set around Valentine's Day. And this one was fun. This one was fine. We followed Lucy Stone, who recently became the head of the advisory council to the library or something like that. And it's her first meeting that she's going to at the library for this. And someone is like the librarian that works there in this small town. She's the only librarian that works at the library, is found dead downstairs in one of the workrooms in the library, or in one of the offices in the library. And so she doesn't intend to get involved in the investigation. And of course, circumstances, she gets involved or is coming across people in town just in her day-to-day life, running errands and just getting things done, and is talking to them about certain things. It just comes to some realizations and starts to piece some things together, even though she's not intending to do anything with this investigation and to let the police handle it. But it was fun, it was fine, it was entertaining. I will say that it was very obvious that this was written almost 25 years ago. I think this was published in 99, and it's very obvious. There are definitely some things in here that would not probably be published today. Certain thoughts that she puts on the page about some queer characters that are in here, things like that just absolutely just unnecessary. Why are they here? This wouldn't be published today. So there are some things like that were definitely eye-rolly throughout the book, but overall a good enough time. And then I needed to take a quick break to read Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare, because my hold from my library for the audiobook was about to expire, and so I needed to make sure I could get through that. So I took a pause on this vlog for that, but then I wanted to read another romance. It is a couple of days past Valentine's, but I wanted to read another romance around Valentine's Day and just kind of wrap this up with a romance. So I did pick up The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca, and we're following Katrina and Nathan. And they are a writing duo who have published a couple of books together. They were under contract for a third book, but in the process of writing their second book, things kind of went downhill, soured. They, took a break. She retired from writing, essentially. He started writing books on his own, but they're not selling as well. And so the publisher basically is wanting to push finishing that contract and kind of making good on this third book that's in this contract. And so basically the publisher wants them to write another book together before they'll consider publishing another book of his, like a solo book of his. And so he really wants to do this to be able to keep his career going. And she is engaged at the start of the story, actually. He has recently, I say recently, like in the intervening years between their second book being written and now, he has divorced his wife, and she's actually engaged. And her fiance is, was involved in their book career, and is wanting her to do this, in part for financial reasons. And anyway, so he kind of pressures her to do this, which anyway. And so the way that they had worked before was by basically doing writing retreats, like extensive writing retreats, or at least that's what they had done for one of their books. And for another book, they had maybe not quite as an extensive of a writer's retreat, but they still would do periodic short-term ones, or spending all day at cafes together, that kind of thing, to write their first one. But their second one, they had spent basically 3 months together at this house just writing the book. And so they're wanting to do that again just to kind of get it over with. And so there's the forced proximity element. I love forced proximity in a romance. I just find it so fun. And are there lingering feelings? Are there lingering things that need to be worked through? And they are kind of working through their emotions through the way they're writing the characters in this third book that they're working on. And so that's been interesting to see. I'm having a great time with this. I think this one has been so entertaining so far. Just having a good time. Just seeing their dynamic develop from, okay, they clearly don't want to be there, to they kind of have called a truce to like just get through this and try to be as cordial as possible. And anyway, it's been fun. But it has been really interesting to see them work things out through their characters and how that's developed over the course of them being together to write this book. So I'm about halfway through, so I'm hoping to finish this pretty quickly and then give a final update. That'll probably be the last book I read for this one, because I do kind of want to switch gears and finish up another vlog that I'm working on. So that'll probably be the last one, but I will let you know once I've finished the roughest draft. So we are back a couple of days later in the same place to wrap up this vlog. I did yesterday finish the roughest draft and had a really great time with this. I just enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the scenario here. I really enjoyed being with them in this writing retreat, just getting their book written and seeing them transition from taking out what they need to say or putting what they needed to say into the book and with their characters to actually being able to talk about some things face to face that they really needed to talk about and to come to grips with. So I really enjoyed this one a lot. And I also wanted to note, so for Kim's TBR game, I will leave the TBR game link down below. I know that there are some prompts, and I'm on Team B, I'm on Kim's team, and some of the prompts that we have for our team are actually ones that were relevant to the books I read in this vlog. So I'm counting this as a Valentine's vlog / documenting the books that I read for Kim's TBR game, or at least a couple of them. So the first one prompt is to randomize your music and then use that song to inspire a book you read. I haven't done that. Maybe I can do that real quick after I talk about the next two. Seasonal pick was the next prompt, and I think Valentine murder counts for this. It definitely literally happened over Valentine's, this vlog did, and so it was very seasonally appropriate. It was pretty cold in the book, you know, they were describing the snowstorms and stuff, and so, you know, very seasonally appropriate, at least for where I am. So I think that definitely counts. And then there was also a prompt. She used Wordle to come up with a word and then have that inspire your read. So the word that was picked was tweak. And I think This Spells Love, the first book I read for this vlog, really, really encapsulates this word. So our main character in that one is trying to tweak her life via spells and magic, and she does in fact tweak her life and adjust things. She gets a second chance at some things, you know, in that process of tweaking her life, but she definitely wants to make some adjustments. And so I think that word could definitely count for This Spells Love. So that's two books, two prompts that I have fulfilled. Let me see if Spotify will cooperate. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do the first prompt, which is randomize my music. So it's gonna be bad glare if I have it at any other angle, so I'm gonna try to work with this here, but I have a bunch of playlists. I'm not seeing a way to very easily pick a random song from any random playlist of all of the playlists, but I do see this liked songs thing up here that I will be able to shuffle and then just see if I can pick. I'm gonna turn the volume down. Let's do that. Okay, and then I'm just going to, okay, The one that came up, I'll see if I can kind of show you. It's Angels We Have Heard on High, the Glee version. So, something to do with any of those things. But we'll see. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make that work, but if I do, then Kim, I will leave you a comment and include that in my comment talking about the books that I finished for this month. We'll see. I'm not sure about that one, but we at least do have the option now to see if I can make that work for one of my next reads. And that'll be it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more bookish content. And I will leave everything linked down below. Again, the TBR video that I'm referencing. And I'll also leave my Instagram and more information about how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.